Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. My guest this morning is Dr. Jide Johnson, Deputy Provost, NIJ. Thank you as always for coming on, Jide.
It is a pleasure to be with you, Uncle Yori.
Indeed.
And we want to thank all our teachers. Today is World Teachers Day. We want to thank them for the great job.
Indeed, indeed. Where would we be without teachers?
Exactly.
Thank you very, very much for bringing that up. Okay, but education is a subject for another day. It's an ongoing subject. It's a subject for every day, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
But we just sort of...
It's an eternal subject.
Exactly. It's an
In fact,
eternal
what we are
subject.
doing is political education.
Thank you very much, Doctor. But all systems seem to be set in Port Harcourt for the National Convention of the PDP. And they have a, shall we say, a vigorous, let me put it like that, a vigorous field as far as presidential candidates are concerned. So, what do you think? All stations, we have a man there, a senior political correspondent, and his team. They're all over there. So we'll be hearing from Ayodele Ozubakwo very, very shortly. But first of all, to get your impression about, there have been some fears. You see PDP voices voicing out that some people are trying to disrupt our primaries. Some people are trying to, introduce confusion and all of that. How do you see it going?
If the major challenge of the party is not from without, it's within. It's how the party is able to manage its internal mechanism. If you manage your house very well, and let me situate it with that of a family, a man and the wife and the children. If you manage your home very well, an external body cannot come and disrupt the harmony and the peace and the tranquility that exists in your home. So, for me, I think what the PDP should focus on is how do we manage our internal system, the internal mechanism of the party. What are the institutions, the process and the procedure that we have put in place to ensure transparency, free and fair primaries to elect our presidential candidate. For the good of democracy, there must be a vibrant opposition. It's important. It's critical for democracy. For democracy, there must be an alternative. There must be an alternative voice. However, I think the actions leading to the convention in Port Harcourt, with the threats from the governor of Rivers State, saying that if the Port Harcourt is not threatening fire and brimstone, that Port Harcourt must be the venue for the convention or nothing else. And then later the party agreed that, okay, we are all going to Port Harcourt. But if you look at the number of candidates aspiring for the post, I think democracy allows everybody the opportunity to aspire. But why do we have party system? Why do we have internal mechanism? The internal mechanism of the party is to provide guidelines that will guide the selection of candidates. And for me, having this number of candidates, what I'm interested is not even the outcome of the primaries, is the post-primary outcome. What are the things? How will the party manage? Because there are a lot of candidates that have big egos, real egos.
Now it's not news that in this race, our former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Senate President Saraki, who is a late arrival but has been adopted,
and I think that based
Aminu Tambuwal,
governor of
Dankwambo, it just goes on. These are heavyweights.
And people with large ego. Tambuwal, former speaker, present governor of Sokoto State, Atiku Abubakar, vice president for 8 years, a perennial and eternal presidential candidate and aspirant.
Former Senate President David Mark.
Senate President David Mark.
Current Senate President.
And there is, in fact, for me, there is one thing that we need to even do concerning our constitution. I think we should remove the word presidency from our Senate. And there can't be two presidents in the nation. That mindset also creates problems, which we have had with the executive and the legislature. We should adopt the leader of the Senate leader or what have you, and not the Senate president, the president of the federal product. That's a discussion for another day in any case, but I like to keep it. But if you look at the candidates, you have Sule Lamido, two-time governor of Jigawa State.
One-time foreign minister, I think.
One-time foreign minister of the Federation. You have two-time governor of Kano State, in Kwakwanso, and then one-time Minister of Defense under Obasanjo. Then you have Dan Kwabo, Auditor General of the Federation and two-term governor of Gombe State. So if you look at the field is full of...
It's a quality field.
But how do you manage? You see, it takes teamwork to win. You may have the best players. Are you with me? You may have the best players. Sometimes the best team with the best player don't win the World Cup. It is the team that plays as a team that wins the World Cup.
Yeah.
So how they are going to manage the post-primary effect that I'm looking at. How are they going to manage?
In fact, so much so, probably that might not be far from the minds of those who are speculating that there might be last-minute efforts to reduce the field. How that is going to be done satisfactorily, I wouldn't put too much money on it.
For me, I don't think that will be possible now. We've looked at the credentials of all of these people have big egos. Most of them
meaning that every single person believes implicitly
exactly
in the fact that he's going to win this.
Most of them are playing their last card by the unwritten agreement that we have in Nigeria, which the last time I was with Joe, I said it's not written anywhere. Nobody says power will surely come down to the south in 2023. For most of these candidates, they are from the northern part. So they see this as their last card. This is our last chance. Because by 2023, power must shift to the south. So it's a zero-sum game for them. I win, I go into this, I win, or I don't win. I'm going into this game.
Saraki has never hid his interest in the highest office of the land. And when he went over there, it did seem to... We heard reports that they weren't too happy. That, look, you can't come at this late hour and, how about those? You know all those arguments. No doubt they must have sorted that out to some extent because he's in the race now. But the whole question of reducing the field to a man, it's either they go that way, which you said you don't really see how they're going to get there, or we just bog down and know that it's going to be a long, long day when tomorrow comes, if they're going to go through all of that.
For you to win an election, either primary or the main election, you must have a base. You must have a base. Everyone has, for you to win that election. I don't know who are the advisors of the Senate president. I don't know who consults for him concerning that. What's his base? What's his political base for this election? The North Central is a loose, fragmented conflagration of states. The North Central, Kwara, Kogi, Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa. You can't talk about that with the President Muhammad Buhari. He has a core base in the Northwest. So for you to win election, if you take it outside of Nigeria, how did Donald Trump emerge? He had a base. For you to win election, you must have a base. Even if you take it to different elections, you discover that people will say, okay, Lagos West, Lagos East, Lagos Central, what's your base? So I've asked people, what's the base of Saraki becoming the president? If he becomes the candidate, what will be his political base? The North Central is loose in terms of, it's made up of different independent, autonomous tribe. Are you with me? It will be interesting if he emerges as I don't see him emerging.
Okay.
I don't see Saraki emerging as the PDP candidate.
And they have decided, I think, to adopt the delegates system. They're not going for the direct primary that the ruling party, is working with.
The what we call direct primary in Nigeria, I've said it is not that, just IIVE to it. It's directive primary. In local parlance, I'm serious. In local parlance, I spent 20 years of my life playing politics. Now, in local parlance, you know what we call direct primaries? Kowiri. Is what it's called. Ask anybody that plays. It's a crazy stuff. in our climb here, it's a crazy stuff. In other climb, like in United States, in England, you register either you are a conservative member. In America, you register whether you are conservative, you are Democrat, or you are independent. And then the local electoral body. There are some primaries that is open to every citizen, not party members. Then, so in California, for example, there are some districts in which the first 6 candidates will go to the main election, regardless of their party affiliation. So that's, but our own is directive. The leaders will sit and they will say,
not just direct.
No, there's nothing.
You put VE after it.
Yeah. It's a directive primary.
Oh dear.
It's a directive. You've seen it's all played out. We've all seen reports. It's a directive primary. It's not the people deciding that this is the person I want to follow. It's that, our leaders have spoken and this is the person we are following.
Okay, I was talking about Ayodele Uzubaku, our senior political correspondent. He's already in Port Harcourt. The man, I don't know how the man moves. I was just,
in fact, and look at his,
he was on journalist.
He was in
journalist hangout
yesterday.
Just how many hours ago?
Yes,
Good morning, Ayo.
He's enjoying himself.
Good morning, Yori.
So you have Waka reach Port Harcourt. Anyway, great. Give us an overview of you and your guys settling in, preparing for tomorrow. What can you tell us at this stage? It's early.
The political events around the country.
Ayodele, did you hear me?
Yes, Yori, I can hear you now.
Okay. I said, even at this early stage, what can you report to us, being now in Port Harcourt? We all know the venue is the Adokie Stadium and all of that. How, everything set?
Yori, Port Harcourt is locked down. Yesterday, it was extremely difficult to even get the hotel room. We were told that immediately when these politicians decided that they're going to use Port Harcourt for their families, that a lot of all the politicians had to lock down all the hotels around, no rooms, and this is one of the steepest competitions that the People's Democratic Party will be facing from 1999 since its inception. If you remember, it has always been a two-horse race. It's either there's an incumbent, that's the president, and another contender. But this is the first time that the People's Democratic Party will be facing this kind of litmus test in terms of the heavyweights that are also in this race. Don't forget, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is in this race. The sitting Senate President is in this race. The immediate past Senate President is in this race. Don't forget, the governor of Sokoto State is in this race. The governor of Gombe State is in this race. And a lot of movers and shakers. And counting them, the last time I checked, I think they're like 14 in numbers. So,
I was going to ask you about that. Most media are reporting that it's either 12 or 13. You've thrown a number in the bag, 14.
Yes, the last time we checked, the last number, we are expecting Kola Olobodiyan, the public secretary of the People's Democratic Party, to tell us categorically, is it 13 or 14 today? How many of them were cleared? And today, don't forget that there's all likelihood, because horse trading is still going on, a lot of talk still going on, different camps talking, give and take. We still have that going on right now. We might be experiencing some people who step down from the race today, because then the 14 of them is going to be an extremely difficult exercise for the organizer.
In fact, Ayo, newspapers are reporting that, they're reporting the speculation, if that's not a contradiction in terms, but they're reporting the speculation that there are last-minute efforts to reduce the field from this high number of 14. You hear anything about that?
Come again?
It is thought that there might even be last-minute efforts to reduce the more than a handful of 14 candidates. Even at this late time, there are efforts to reduce that number. Do you know anything about that? You were talking about horse trading just now, and that.
Yes. Yori, that's the only sensible thing to do right now. The party board of trustee members, everybody, they are putting pressure on some of these candidates that they think maybe their chances not too bright. We have a fair idea of the people that are in the race. Let's say first 5 that are in the race, that they have the world chair, they have the network, they have the contact, and they've gotten pledges from delegates across this state. So ultimately, these 14 people might not run. They might just have to merge. And that will happen a lot. If you see the last convention of the All Progressive Congress that they had in Abuja, last minute, even at the convention ground, people started announcing their request to step down for other people so that there will be peace in the party. Because if 14 people should go into this exercise, let me tell you the implication. We might not have a candidate till Monday morning. Till Monday morning, because the process of voting, it will start. When the process of voting starts, they will start collating 14 results. Collating, so start sorting. They'll be sorting all the ballot papers for all the delegates, and one by one, and they'll start counting for 14 people. I bet you Sunday we might not have a candidate on Sunday.
Indeed.
It might just linger till Monday.
I wonder what your guesswork is, Ayo. Not that reporters usually involve themselves too much with guesswork, but it's in relation to the fact that Saraki joined the presidential race in PDP, his newly readopted party, quite late, and that caused some sort of resentment among those who had been quote-unquote faithful, had stayed firm. Has that been resolved now so that all of that is behind us and there are other parameters that might count, or is that sense of resentment still there?
I not actually feel the pulse of all other aspirants, but one thing I know is that Abubakar Bukola Saraki is a tactician. When you least expect of him to show up, he will always show up. And I can tell you that if somebody in that particular race, you need to watch out for. There's a tendency that people will get to underestimate him. There's a tendency that people will see him as not having this so-called political base. But I'm putting it to you, watch the results by the time a candidate emerges. Because it's a game of wit, and a lot of these frustrations, they've been able, round the clock, in the last 24 hours, I'm sure most of these politicians, when we go to Port Harcourt yesterday, all the hotels, still to capacity, people were still seeing delegates, and delegates were still lodged in different hotels. So I know that it's going to be a very, very high political work that will go down at the PDP convention tomorrow. So that's why we know the APC, they are having their own convention again tomorrow to ratify the candidacy of Mr. President. We know that Mr. President is the only person. So for us in TVC, the editorial judgment was that it's not a big deal since we know what is going to go down. We are going to cover it. But what is the People's Democratic Party is the party now to watch out for. Indeed. Whoever emerges at the end of the day will be the one that will face President Muhammadu Buhari and, of course, 91 other political parties.
Indeed. The whole question, finally, before we let go of you, the whole question, maybe you could lead us into what we're going to talk about in the studio, this whole matter about deep pockets being indispensable in an endeavor like this. I don't know. That's a controversial subject.
That's the biggest factor here. The biggest factor. The biggest consideration. Because they're bringing delegates to Port Harcourt. Most of them are not based in Port Harcourt. But most of these delegates, they're going to pay for their flight tickets. They're going to pay for their accommodation. They're going to, they're going to give them extra allowances. And it takes somebody with an extremely deep pocket and understand the act of politics very well before you can sway these delegates. And the governors within the People's Democratic Party, they are going to play a big role in deciding. Those governors are led by Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State. So he's going to play, he and his other colleagues, 12 other colleagues, they are going to play a big role in deciding whoever emerges tomorrow. So if you don't have the support of these governors, I'm sure the race is not, you not get enough delegates, because we have a situation whereby it's the race that the governors should just tell their delegates from their state, the state is what to go to, and some other governors will tell them. So if you don't have the influence of the governors, you might not ultimately clinch the ticket. So ultimately, the governors will be the ones to decide. And a lot of funding, a lot of money will go into this thing. I can tell you, when you talk about Watcher, we talk about Atiku Abubakar, talk about Bukola Saraki himself, talk about former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, when talking about grassroots politicians, people that have been tested and they prove their mental several times. So you have all these people, and don't forget the Sokoto State Governor is also in this race. That is former Speaker, Right Honorable Aminu Tambuwal. So right now, it's too close to call. It's too close to call.
Indeed. Well, I want to thank you very much, Ayodele Ozubaku, as always. Excellent work. We'll touch base with you as soon as it's necessary. Thank you very much, Ayo, our senior politics correspondent Ayodele Ozubaku. Ending there with our chat with this whole matter about the most essential requirement of any serious contender, the length of his pockets, whether it is shallow, whether it is deep. So ideas is one thing, presenting yourself because this is what you're known for and this is what you want to take and run with on behalf of the party is one thing. But he said that, look, let's not kid ourselves. The war chests of the various candidates is going to be quite decisive.
Since we have gotten to this primary cycle of the party across board, the 99 parties, probably we should add our own to make it 100. At least we have a perfect number. On a lighter note, which our campaign has not been issue-based. It has either been personality-based or party interests or leaders' interest. It has not been issue-based across board. So it's not, you have not seen anybody highlighting any issue by 2023 if we get, we employ 500,000 teachers, we create so number of institutions.
Those are not the foremost considerations at this moment.
And people are not talking about that issue, and it is those issues you highlight when you are aspiring that forms the core of what you take to the electorate. So the electorate are not the one deciding what is happening. It is their deep pocket. We have seen that our democracy has become highly monetized, and it's as a result of the poverty rate, because policies over the years have perpetuated poverty. An hungry man cannot think straight. An hungry man can sell his conscience for money. And from what we have seen concerning this, is it about you or is it about me? Is it about every one of us? No, it's about their own interest. Because if you look at the field, you begin to ask yourself this question. I was one time a governor, then I went to the legislature. Now I'm going for the presidency. I can't seem to understand. I can't seem to understand.
So this, this is an eternal debate as well. This matter of corruption, and let us call it what it really is, corruption within our whole democracy system. In the sense that money playing the role that you're saying, so people, the whole thing is distorted. People are not really even given the opportunity to think independently. You continue to wave your part of your arsenal, As you know, we've heard these cliches. We will meet them naira for naira. We will meet them dollar for dollar.
A lot of money will be flying around tomorrow. It's already flying.
So the whole thing is distorted. The whole political process is distorted.
Let me put it to you. If I spend 100 billion to emerge as the presidential candidate of my party, and I win the election, and I spend vote for my party and I win the election, what do you think I'll first settle? So that's why when people talk about restructuring and reforming the party system, there are things which we are talking about. For example, look at this delegate election. I was telling us that we might not likely get the result until Monday. How many delegates? Why can't a party like PDP that has been in existence since inception install computer and software and they do digital voting, and you get, we do e-vote. You look at it, so that they can send a signal to INEC that we can do it. You can have a campaign. They are not up to 10,000 delegates. Now, if they have the software, let's say they have 100 computers installed in that convention venue, and then everyone that is going to vote, you just go, once you vote, you've installed the biodata of everybody, and once you go, you vote. he will tally, we will see the result, and then we know that.
But doctor, you're forgetting.
We are in an analog. If the process.
You think, doctor, people know what you are saying and they know how to do that, assuming that we want it to be transparent. You can't tell me that our people don't know how to go about this matter and let everybody see that this is crystal clear, transparent. This is what happened. We know how to do those things, but we're not going to go there for the moment. But before you respond, Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, I guess it's honestly. Going back to Garden City for the election, there's nothing wrong to me because when Obasanjo came on board, they used Josh for Obasanjo. There was no problem. But my main concern now is the election tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. I could have not been to put a leave from Lagos. That direct primary, it helps. And the reduced, it was very, very urgent. What I mean by urgent, everything went straight, no, this is not coming to get somebody, come and when you collect money before you go and vote. And what I'm trying to find out now for our guests, now there are contestants, now we have known them. But the question now is this. If you take around now, there's a record that we have just seen some, where this WhatsApp and the rest, that's Saraki, Atiku and the rest. But my problem is, let the party, PDP, not impose candidates. Because my problem with the party is that this imposition of candidates is another major problem. If they can eradicate that, like what I guess just said this morning, if you get crown, see that people going there, they have their own candidates in mind. But the question is, imposition of candidates will be another downfall of the party. We are not praying for any downfall of any political party. But the thing is, they should call this way and do the directing and the correcting so that people will see what we call transparency, fair and free. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. So maybe you can even mop this up along with what I was saying before we had to go to the phones. People know how to go about making a thing transparently clear if they want to do so. I'm not too sure that that is the objective, to prove to everybody that there's no wuru-wuru involved. This is how, let it fall where it will. That's not the normal objective, and that's part of the problem.
Because I don't know why we would do, for us to count the number of votes from less than 10,000 delegates, it would take eternity for us to do that. You see, if the party system are still being run with the 1960 ideas, and the party system provides the foundation for public governance, if they are still being run with, if the parties are not reformed, how would they translate that when they get it to the legislature and into executive to reforming INEC? Are you with me? So if the parties can't deploy technology, if they can't deploy technology, how would they go to the National Assembly and pass law to ask INEC to? Don't you see the stress they take you and I through for us to get the result of election? We have election today and we wait till eternity to get the result. Whereas in other climes, the moment they are doing the election, they will be telling us exit poll. From the exit poll, we are projected that this person will win this state with this margin. And that was why I watched your station coverage of Osun's election. And then around 1 p.m., they interviewed the American consulate in Nigeria. And the guy said that this election will be too close to call. They've not finished the election. I said, perfect. Because they understood the dynamics of technology and making projections. But how for this delegate? Exactly. So for our own delegate now, you will see you will get election on Monday. Once the process is transparent, the winners and the losers will go home happy. But when you try to manipulate the process, that's what creates problem.
Let's come back and we'll talk about some cries about, some people are trying to confuse our, all those kind of political things that you hear. But we're going to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. We're looking just ahead of the PDP National Convention in Port Harcourt. Up to 14 candidates in the field for the top job of the land. And we were just anywhere from 12 to 13 to 14, but Arma and I just said 14 is what they're going to try to be whittling down. Jide, when you look at it, 14 candidates, I suppose you're going to have some front runners. When we were off air, you were telling me that, well, just looking at the whole list, you sort of fancied Atiku Abubakar or Tambuwal.
Yeah, those are the true, and Saraki as the dark horse. Those are the three main contenders for now. Tambuwal, the governors and the new power structure within PDP are rooting for Tambuwal. Atiku, the old establishment order, and don't forget that Atiku said he's going to spend one term, so some of them are seen as a stopgap measure. And
so we can come and start this all over again. That is, if he sticks to his gun.
Have you ever seen any politicians sticking to their guns?
Well, Mandela did it. Mandela did it. Just one term, I said, hand this over to another person.
You can't compare. Mandela is an institution. Mandela is a statesman. Mandela is not a politician. One American president said that a politician thinks of the next election, a statesman thinks of the next generation. Mandela was thinking of the next generation. Who do we hand over this country to?
And we don't have those kind of thinkers.
We only have politicians in Nigeria. There's no Nigerian that you can call a statesman because they don't think of the next generation. It's about their own generation and their own selfish interest. So from the field, you see that we have three candidates, one as a dark horse and two as front runners. While I don't know where Tambuwal will, I don't know where Kwankwaso will go from here if he loses the primary. I don't know where Tambuwal will go if he loses the primary. What next for him? I don't know where Bukola will go if he loses his primary. If Atiku loses this primary, you know, his political career is over. So like I said, most of them are playing their last
end game.
Their end game. For someone like Dan Kwabo is still young, still very. I remember I said on set concerning Tambuwal that if I were to advise him, there was this program when he decamped that I said that if I were to advise him, I would have counseled him to have remain in APC,
just
keep your time. He's still young. In 8 years' time, he could still
He's still good. He's still good for the race. Yakub, good morning and thank you for holding on. Please go ahead.
Sorry, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
And then good morning to Mr. Johnson.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting in Port Harcourt tomorrow. As a president that is very close sympathizer of APC, I have a keen interest of who emerge as a presidential aspirant of PDP. But I want to tell you this, there's something they really call Afobaje in our own language. Those are the Afobaje.
The kingmakers. The kingmakers.
Yes, the kingmaker. I just use my dialect language to call that. Those kingmakers are those governors. But I can tell you, the president that's going to win that election will be the one has enough money. I can tell you that. Enough money in the sense that, basically PDP control, if I'm right, they are government control, like maybe I think almost 9 or 12 states, thereabouts. Those people, there are some candidates have enough money, they are going to use their resources where PDP are not governing. I mean, they are still there, we are not governing. They will make sure that they put their resources in those states that we are not governed by PDP members, PDP governors, so to say. And then the wicked of this world is going to play a big role. You know why they took that election to that state? PDP and the government that's controlled by PDP, they will make sure that the people they really want that election, but they may fail because the people they really want may not have enough money in order to spend, to give it to those candidates. I can tell you some of the candidates will leave that Port Harcourt, come back maybe on Monday or Tuesday. They will be buying brand new car, they will build house, because a lot of money is going to be spent. But though, I can really say I don't wish them good luck. That is me for you. Because as an opposition to them, I really want them to give us the wicked aspirants. I know the one that's going to give us the run for our money out of them. I really know that person, but I will never mention his name because I don't want him to get it. Thank you and God bless you.
Well, thank you very much for calling in.
There's no convention where parties don't spend money. You fly in delegates from the various states of the federation. You lodge them in hotels.
There's no convention where parties don't spend money on legitimate affairs. But it is extracurricular.
Whether legitimate or illegitimate, you see, there's not, like he said, Korafo said, APC primary was held in 2015, was held in Lagos. 2014 was held in Lagos. And just like Wiki insisted, Coastal, the biggest state in the opposition in 2015 was Lagos State. The poster boy was Lagos State. So for them too, is the poster boy and Lagos and Port Harcourt, they are coastal states. So, but like we have all pointed out, money will play a factor. And
which is unfortunate, because this is supposed to be a new...
It's about controlling it's about putting finance control. There's no politics anywhere in the world that money does not play. But our own is that there's no regulation.
Thank you.
Our own is there is no regulation.
No rules.
No rules governing.
No, there are rules, but people just they observe them by ignoring them.
Where are these resources coming from? You know, we read of someone that want a seat to go to the Senate for a 5th term, and that it was sharing money to the people to get that seat. And that's why some have advocated that let's do direct primaries so that we don't have to induce voters. We don't have to induce the delegates with money.
But PDP is not interested in that for this election, at least.
So whichever way it goes, we need to have, in the 9th Legislative Assembly, should do something about campaign reform as regards how much you spend, the resources that's required for you to contest election. Because for some of these people, this is their end game. After this primary, and some of them are still playing, you know, some senatorial district, they've not decided the senatorial candidates of PDP in some senatorial district in which some of these presidential aspirants are contesting. So some are playing double game. If I don't get what we call in our local dial, so they are playing lottery.
It's a game of chance.
It's a game of chance, 50-50. Some of them are taking you want to be a millionaire, they are taking a 50-50 chance.
Chooks is standing by. I think it's in Port Harcourt. Good morning, Chooks.
Okay, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Enugu.
Yeah.
Enugu.
Yes.
All right then. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
He's doing a nice job. I'm always happy when he's on the studio. Now,
thank you.
What I want to talk about is the primary of the PDP. You see, this government, when you look at them, you know that they don't have room for opposition. The way they treated Kwankwaso, I wasn't really happy. But the fact is, I'm very, very happy that these 12 candidates are going in for this election. This attitude of consensus is what is killing this country. Allow people go there, go and see whether people believe what you are saying. Not this attitude of one or two persons will say, oh, I have stepped down. You know, the attitude of PDP has always been step down, consensus candidate. We don't need all this. Look at what is happening everywhere, both in PDP and APC, their primary of the state, moving from one place to another. Is this attitude of consensus and consensus? Go out there, go and campaign. Let people see what you are willing to do. If they vote for you, good. If they don't vote for you, you go back. So for me, I'm impressed with what PDP are doing. If only they can remain transparent tomorrow, do it free and fair. If you lose, you know you have lost. If you win, you know people have given you mandate and you ride on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chooks. You know, well said. If you play according to the rules. And that has been the problem of INEC and all the regulatory bodies that, somebody even said that the politicians are the problem. The system itself can be worked. It's not as if it's perfect, but it can be worked if only the politicians would cooperate. Now, they see it as you've just said, the end game, and so I'm afraid that we don't need to hold our breath, you know, hoping that the right thing is going to be done. We're going to have to work with what we're used to for now. And that means that there will be distortion, but we shall take whatever we get and manage it so.
You see, because the easiest means to become rich in Africa is for you to have access to public office and have unhindered access to public funds. And so you can allocate the commonwealth of the people to your...
Which is something we're trying to change.
It's about the generality of public perception and public reception to some of these things. You and I that are seated there and those that are watching us at home, no. We have friends that we knew 4 years ago before they get into public office, and 4 years after, in fact 6 months after they get into public office, we see the kind of lifestyle they are living. If that had happened in civilized crime, someone would have called the IRS, someone would have written a petition to some certain agency, to FBI and the rest of it. The FBI is independent of the president, the IRS is independent of the president, is devoid of any political partisanship, and we solve all that. Until we resolve that as a people, what do we want as a people? Do we celebrate mediocrity or do we celebrate excellence? Do we celebrate integrity? Do we celebrate transparency? People judge you by the type of cars you drive. They don't care where you get the money to buy the car. We don't, all the value system which we have in the past. You know, while we are growing up, if you bring the pencil that does not belong to you, if you bring it home, they will beat you. These days, now parents are encouraging their children to do yahoo yahoo. Are you getting? So,
Mr. Adebayo in Ilorin, I beg your pardon. Mr. Adebayo in Ilorin, thank you for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the program, and thank you. I greet the guests also.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
I would like to speak on the National Convention of the PDP.
Sure, go ahead.
What I would like to call the attention of people is they should watch out for Saraki very, very well. If you look at the antecedents and the way he has been doing his things, he look at Lupsos. He take his time before declaring his ambition. If you look at it very, very well, he has actually studied the body language of the aspirants. And if you look at the power play he has been applying in the way he do his things, right from the way when he was the governor, the chairman governor's forum, the way he grip whichever post he finds himself, making a force to reckon with. And if you look at the way he holds the Senate too, and the way he plays with the opposition party and is able to manage them to this particular stage, I foresee something fishing is going to happen by the time we get the results tomorrow and next. And also, if you look at the issue of money or no money, money may not really be what comes out of this. But if you look at the way he's able to play with the issue of Dino Melaye in Kogi, and he was able to install his people where he's going to meet them. Either we like it or not, this North Central is likely going to get not less than 60% votes. And you know the Southeast is likely to get this PT vote and the likes, because most of these governors in the East are very much with him. So,
all right then. Well, thank you very much, Adebayo.
Well, I'll love to talk to Adebayo.
Interesting analysis.
For me, we have said he's a dark horse.
Yes.
Don't disregard his moves and what have you. But what is at play? Nobody's saying he's not a leading candidate, but from what is at play, the race is between Atiku and Tambuwal. From my own analysis and projection, we are not downplaying the Saraki effect, but there are a lot of players, you know, in PDP. The major reason why PDP fell apart in 2015 is that there are too many gladiators. There are too many gladiators, too many interests, and things were not done in a transparent manner. We hope, and from all the callers that we have received, that there must be transparency in what they want to do. There's already an argument concerning the delegate list or not. Even a court ruled in the course of last week or this week that the delegate list of Kashamu is the authentic delegate list for the election. So they have to resolve. One of the issues which I'm thinking that the Convention Committee and National Working Committee will try to resolve is the issue of who are those that are actually going to vote in the election. That is critical because it is those accredited delegates that will determine the fate of whoever emerges as. And like we said, there will be last minute. There will be last minute of trading. I can't get this. What are you going to give to me? It's part and parcel of the political process. And don't let us also get carried away with the number. Sometimes the number is a way of mobilizing for the party, building the party. It's one of the strategies in which the main parties that have ruled in the Southwest have done. If you look at the number of aspirants that we have in Lagos for different offices, apart from that of the governor, you see that you have, in my own constituency, we have 25 people contesting for Lagos State House Assembly under the APC. Now, it might be an advantage if it is managed in a transparent manner. You look in the Republican field in 2016 in America, they had 16 candidates vying, whereas in the Democratic Party, they only had 3 candidates. They only had, and people are saying, how are the Republicans going to manage their primaries? How are they going to do it? One by one, they were falling by the wayside, and Donald Trump emerged from ultimately from
I don't want to lose Umar in Abuja. Thank you very much for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Yes, thank you for good job you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Jide Johnson.
Dr. Johnson.
Yes, Bosa for you. I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much, my brother.
See, be it as it may, I can tell you authoritatively, that was the governor of River State, Nsiwuke. He already has a candidate in mind. And that is why he came out in the open to threaten the entire party, so that they will succumb, that if they try it and move the convention out of River State, it's going to teach them the lesson they will never forget in their life. He has used that one now to bring them down. They must bow down to him. And I can tell you authoritatively, the candidate they are likely to produce, it is going to be a walkover. Deal with that. 2019 will be the most easiest and celebrated election in the history of Nigeria. All irrespective of their up there is real. Are you talking about, like what Jide just rightly said? If this power, according to that, is not in our constitution, if they lose this opportunity, come to 2023, the power will shift to the south. And all of them, they are crossing about 72, 75 years already. Another 8 years, they are not talking about another 12 years to be added to their years. So they are out of the game completely. So they will do everything humanly possible. Anyhow it's going to be tomorrow. You see that at the end of the day, you see that they scatter it. And I cannot tell you another thing. Let me tell you another thing. I can tell authoritatively, I have it in good authority. 4 of those aspirants, they have already bought tickets, presidential tickets from another party. After on Sunday, you say, Umar from Abuja said something like this. Thank you, Okuyori.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling in.
Yeah. There are indications too. We've had that from Grapevine that some have even gotten Labour Party tickets, some have gotten ADP ticket, some are hiring even SDP ticket that Professor Jerry Ghana is interested in. You see, we have said it, it's a party that put its house in order that wins the election. If you are disorganized and you do operate as a team, I love football. I watch football. The major problem of Manchester United, for example, is that they have the players, but they don't have a team. Are you with me? So the greatest strength of other teams like Man City, like Liverpool, is that they have a team. And if you look at the monetary value of the players of Man U compared to other teams, you see that the monetary value is much more than that. So it's a team that is able to put its house in order. Moving forward, how are they going to manage the post-convention crisis? Because there will be some crisis outside of this convention. And that's why you see that they said there are meetings going on to whittle down the influence. Because if you spend money, you want to see the result of the money you have spent. But if they don't spend money in the process, that's why people make politics a do or die affair, because they have invested their resources on it.
One moment, please. Tunde in the UK, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning. How are you?
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, and I'd like to say good morning to your guests as well.
Good morning.
Yeah, there are 2 things I'd like to raise in this, in your discussion or this program. First and foremost, I like what is going on in Nigeria now, because you see this direct primary is creating what I call discipline. And what I mean by that is that it's like an exam. These candidates will have to go to the people to campaign and show that I'm willing to work for you. And if they do not work for the people, they know that they have no hiding place tomorrow when they go in the next 4 years to say, vote for me. So, and this will trickle down to most, like the civil service and whoever or top organizations that If you want to save your job, I worked hard to win this election. If you don't produce good, if I ask you to do it, you're out of this job because I want results. That is what I'm looking at in the long term, not now, because we're talking about everybody fighting that, okay, you think it's money, but I don't look at the money aspect, which is the immediate one. I'm looking at when people fight hard and campaign to people, it's their own exam. This is a mock exam. The main exam is the election. You see? Secondly, we're talking about people who have cases in court, unresolved cases. Please, this is where we have to sanitize our brothers and sisters and say, look here, if they have unresolved cases, please don't let them contest. We need a law in the country. Solve your case in court first, then you can present yourself for people to vote for you. And that will show that, if those two things go hand in hand or along each other, we will have credible people. Not 100%, but we're looking at close to 80 to 95% credible people to contest elections in Nigeria.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in. Naturally, PDP, a world unto themselves. They think they can, they would like to get power back. They'd like to take power back. In fact, that's their whole quest. But they still have, at the end of the day, whatever they come up with between today and the end of the week and the weekend, they still have the whole Nigeria psyche to contend with. Nigeria having experienced them for so long.
Everybody is interested. And
yes, so everybody's interested in seeing what configuration are we going to come up with this time, and how is it going to be different from that which we know.
Which they are used to.
Which we're used to with the PDP.
In the past, in 2015,
so they have that legacy.
It was consensus building. And don't let us discountenance the fact that it's both parties need to put their house in order to win the election. We have seen issues coming up here and there. But it will be in the interest of our nation for both parties to have peaceful primaries so that the electionary process will not be dominated by litigation. Because if this process is not transparent, some people will go to court to challenge the legitimacy of whoever is declared as candidate, so that our election in 2019 can be issue-based. If we come out with this primary cycle with the parties with no issue, with no crisis, then the candidates can come out and articulate their views as regards what they are going to do for Nigerians. And not us talking about, the ticket belongs to me, does not belong to me. Candidates going to court and we get muddled up in the issues, litigations concerning the election, and other than issues and programs which they will do for Nigerians.
Ade in Ogba, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Thanks so much. Good morning to your guests over there.
Good morning.
I hear Oga saying that there's nothing like a direct primary, that is a directive primaries. I disagree a bit.
Okay.
I think the system we have now can be worked on. See, if I've been directed to vote for a particular person, and I choose to follow the instructions of that person, it's my personal decision. If I'm not being forced to vote for that person, see, most of us people that came out to campaign or the candidates, we don't really know them deeply. These papas are the ones that deal with them, that are around them. They know who they are, they know their capacity. So if I try to put my trust in that papa that says I should vote for this person, believing that the person is recommending for me is good, that's my personal problem. But going forward, what I think the National Working Committee of APC need to do now is to improve the primary to make it strictly ballot. So if you look at social media, during the last election of Lagos State governorship, some people wanted to vote for a particular candidate. They were being denied. They were picking up. They were scared away because you have to keep behind that person, which is bad. Let it be open that, okay, let me go here. Even when Papa tell me to vote for this person, I can pretend the person about that and vote for that person, only for me to go secretly and vote for whoever I should to.
All right, then. Thank you very much. We've completely run out of time. Forgive me for interrupting you. So we've completely run out of time. But we get the import of what he's saying. As we speak, issues are not center. That is not the point. It's about getting somebody into there. And as I think...
INEC with the resources that they have and the personnel conducted election throughout the state. It took them days before declaring the result. And parties conducted election the same day. They don't have the resources that INEC are, and they were declaring figures that are. We are not. You think I'm not here to please anybody? I'm here to do what is good for the country. And they were declaring results that. How do you authenticate this result on a working day? If that's what we want in Nigeria, it's okay. If it's not what we want, it's okay with me.
Well, Shide, we've got to leave it here.
Exactly.
We actually must get out. But I want to thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Dr. Johnson.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Oguyori.
NIJ. Naturally, TVC is going to be on the election over the weekend. Of course, you can stay with TVC. And all other things being equal, we'll be together again on Monday, and we'll be looking at what happened over the weekend. Do have a great weekend. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
If they are